customizable. You can have somebody like, or you can do it yourself, swap out the arms with like flesh arms and legs too, if you'd like. And then it's,
there we go.
It's beefy Pixel Dan.
Yeah, I like it. All right, so here's the big one then. Dragons.
Yeah. So, I mean, we got to do a dragon. I've been saying it myself for years. We got to do a dragon. Oh my God. Hey, how's you? Man? Oh my God.
That's right, baby. We are back. And I'm back from Legions Con 2024 to talk about the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Dragon. So the possibility of Four Horsemen Studios making a full 1/12 scale dragon has been the topic of much discussion and legend over the years. As you saw, that clip from Pixel Dan's interview with Cornboy was from over 4 years ago, when CB confirmed that a dragon is something that at least the studio would like to do. So for many years, there has been much discussion about whether or not Four Horsemen would actually make a dragon, and if they did, what would it look like? So much so that it became kind of a joke whenever the topic of anything dragon related would come up, or if someone from the studio didn't deny that it might be a possibility, the appropriate response was, all caps, "Oh my God, dragon confirmed." And that's why, more than 2 years ago, I had this special t-shirt made just for me that said that, "Oh my God, dragon confirmed," and I wore it to Legions Con 2022 in the hopes that a dragon might be coming, or if nothing else, that it would at least be a little bit funny. So here we are now, the 25th anniversary of Four Horsemen Studios, the 10th anniversary of the Mythic Legions line, and yes, the year of the dragon as far as the Chinese zodiac is concerned, and Mythic Legions fans really thought that this might be the year. Well, at G-Con, the Friday of Mythic Weekend this year, the Four Horsemen Studios finally announced that, yes, they are making a dragon, and oh baby, what a dragon it is. And now this thing has come around full circle because I was able to wear my "Oh my God, dragon confirmed" shirt to Legions Con this year for the reveal of the dragon, and it was one of the coolest experiences I've had maybe ever. Like I said before, one of the biggest topics of discussion was how big would a dragon actually be if Four Horsemen were to make one? Well, this one is massive. In a relaxed pose with the tail curled around it, the dragon is about 31 inches long, 22 inches tall. However, with the tail pulled all the way out, from nose to tail, you're talking more like 54 inches, so more than 4 feet long. If you add in the flame effect, we're talking like 70 inches long. With the unfurled wings, you're talking 28 inches high. This thing is massive. And here you can see the scale of this thing. This dragon is massive, towers over everything Four Horsemen have done before. Goblins are tiny when compared to this thing, but this thing towers over everything. Even the giant Azahazar and the trolls. It is absolutely gorgeous too. The sculpture and the paint detail on this thing is like something that's never been done in action figures before. So yes, the legend has been fulfilled. The prophecy has been fulfilled. Four Horsemen Studios are making a dragon. So I wanted to make a video just to give you a better look at it. So what's coming up now is just first a quick video of the dragon inside the glass case at Legions Con, so you can have a quick look at what it might look like with the flame effect, with the unfurled wings and all of that. After that, Jeremy Gerard from Four Horsemen Studios gives us a look at a 3D printed prototype of the dragon, so you can get a better idea of the size of this thing, and he kind of shows us some of the movements. The wings have some really great, strong sounding ratchets. This thing is going to be sturdy. And Jeremy answers a few key questions that I think will be helpful to people. Shout out here to my friend Eric Miller, who actually came and got me. I was on the floor of Legions Con at the show. He came up behind me and tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, did you know they're messing around with the prototype right now in the lobby? You might want to go take a look." So I went directly out there and got this footage. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a dragon. The dragon. The news in the background. Let's get around this other side. Try to avoid the glare. Holy guac. Sorry, Dylan. Sorry about that.
They were all very specific characters.
They're very specific, right?
So creating more of like a generic fantasy line, an open world that people can make their own, that was kind of the initial thought behind Mythic Legions.
I mean, y'all 100% did that. Wow.
Can I just ask, can you close the dragon's jaws again for a second? So I've had a few people ask online if the jaw was articulated or not.
Yeah.
Because they haven't seen it with a closed jaw. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, it opens up and it's got the tongue there, but it fully closes. And that's why we did the second head that has the fixed open mouth, because you know, a lot of times when people, they want the articulated jaw, an articulated jaw is great if you just want, you know, that little bit of different option. But just like we did with the hyena, when someone is actually like growling or snarling, like their entire facial structure changes, not just their mouth opening. So for this, he wanted that more dynamic look. He wanted that jaw to really be extended the way it would be if it was breathing flames. So that's why in the accessory pack, we have a whole second head.
Yeah. I was showing my dad the eyes. They're 100% different.
You know, that's why we brought this out, because you see like the fixed pose, and I've said before, this wingspan, these are the small wings. This isn't even the big wings, you know. But to be able to pose that and, you know, get that different flights area. You know,
Do these go down the same way?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. It's with those we can't do it because those are prototypes. So that's like glued, like the edge of that. Like the edge of that, you know, it's the same thing. It's a peg with the piece in there, but that's fixed. So we just kind of have to put it in there and like glue it. But, you know, this here, like that ratchet, like to be able to feel how it's going to move and then to see that right here in the wings, that's real point. Eric talked about, like, you know, he wanted to do it like this because he's got other figures that are, you know, big wings and stuff like that, and over time they always start to droop.
Right.
We wanted something where when you position this, it's not going to get floppy, it's not going to droop, it's going to hold its dimensions and its shape.
Jeremy, how easy will the wings be able to come off and on?
It's just a peg. You just pop it right in. Yeah. Now, you can't, someone was asking earlier if, you know, maybe you don't have plugs so you can display it without wings. There are no plans to do that for this. But if we do other dragons down the road, maybe one of them would be a drake that in place of the wings has plugs in there. But for this particular one, because I'll be honest with you, the wings are one of the most expensive parts of this figure. So if we were going to release it without wings, it would actually be a lower priced figure because of that. And maybe a future one will be a little bit cheaper than this one if we adjust it in that way.
Gotcha.
Hey, so would you say that the wings the same scale as like an ogre-sized figure? So would they be able to like connect on like a Pragma?
Oh, not at all.
Too big?
They're way too big. And the adapter, the plugs here are way too big to fit in the back of an ogre.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, they're gigantic.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a moment to, you probably did this already, but just to talk about the tail a little bit?
Yeah, so the way the tail is going to be constructed, this piece that we have here, this will be bendy. So this whole end you'll be able to bend, it'll have a wire. Now, all of these different pieces, you can see these are all separate pieces. And what's great about the design of this, because it's all armored plates, those armored plates create natural like seams where you can almost hide those movements. This was designed to have barbell joints in each section. But what we're realizing now is, well, that'll have some posability. It's going to be a little more limited. We're talking with the factory right now about putting a very thick wire through all of this. So you'll still have separate segments that will be connected, but that wire will give you even more posability. Now, I mean, this is not like a piece of soft goods with a little thin wire. I mean, this is going to be a substantial thing that will allow you to bend and really hold those poses. So that's where we are right now with the factory, is just trying to figure out some of those engineering type things. This is such a unique figure at such a unique scale that we're spending a lot of time making sure that we've ironed out all of these things. Well, you know, I've answered a number of questions all weekend about the price, we haven't revealed a price yet because we're still figuring out what the materials are going to be, what the eventual costs are going to be. So when we come out with that price, it's one that we're comfortable with and we know. You know, right now we're trying to see, are there ways that we can adjust some of the engineering, that we can adjust some of the materials to maybe lower that price a little bit for all of our fans. What I've said all day is the things we will not compromise on, it's not changing size. So we're not going to ever make it smaller and make it cheaper. It's this big. We're not changing the sculpture. We're not changing the paintings. So it will absolutely, what you see here in terms of the size, in terms of the colors, in terms of the overall sculptural details, that's 100% what you're going to get.
So that wire coming through the tail would obviously alter the price, right? If that's something that happens.
That remains to be seen.
Yeah.
That might be a negligible kind of change, like whether they go with the connections or just a wire. That might almost be like a wash. One of the things that would really possibly change it is rotocast. So rotocast, that hollow, like if you look at our trolls are rotocast bodies with injection molded hands, heads, and feet. This very likely is going to have quite a bit of rotocast in it. And some people get like worried, like, oh, it's going to be hollow. That's not going to feel good. The walls are still going to be really thick. Like when you pick this thing up, it's not going to feel like it's hollow. It's going to be a massive beast. But if this was fully injection molded plastic, it'd weigh like 40 pounds. So it's going to be absolutely unwieldy massive to have if it's that weight. The great thing about rotocast is it's cheaper to do and the tooling is dramatically cheaper. So if we can do it for less, we can charge less. And that's really what we're working at. And we've got it at a price point. I've heard a number of people over the weekend suggest like $650, $700. It's well below that. It's not.
Yes.
But we're trying to figure out where we can actually get it. You know, if you know Mythic Legions, you know that whenever we can, add extra value, we try to do it. In addition, whatever the price comes in at, because this is going to be a crowdfunding campaign, there's going to be add-ons. Yeah, we've got to hit, it's not going to be Kickstarter.
The time frame and
Probably
details
January. Probably January. January is when we're going to be looking to do.
so 45 days-ish or something like that.
Most of them are about 30 days. Traditional wisdom tells you that if you go too long, people genuinely lose interest. So keeping it a little more condensed tends to actually be a more successful solution. But we have a certain minimum number we have to drop something in order to make it viable to do. But the cool thing about a campaign is we can also add stretch goals. So stretch goals would be like, hey, we've got to do this number to do it minimum, but if we hit this number, we're going to add these other things in, not change the price, but add other stuff in. Like, for instance, the crispy skeletons that you see in the case over here, a number of people have asked, it would be great if we got these burnt crispy skeletons as stretch goals in the Kickstarter. So yeah, dude, that's totally cool. Maybe that's something that we'll do. I can tell you that we've already got some ideas, and they're not like, oh, you get a sticker pack. It's not stuff like that. It's cool ideas that you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I actually want that. Adds value to it.
So you expect to know what the final price or the base for what the final price would be by sometime in January?
Oh yeah, I mean obviously before we do the crowdfunding, we're going to know what the price is going to be. We're going to know the number that we have to hit. That's something we've been working on. We don't have that information right now in order to say right now, but sometime in December, I would imagine we'll know those and be able to convey that to people.
Would you say a saddle for the dragon would be in the works, or like would be possible?
So we've been asked about a saddle a number of times. We talked about a saddle for this creature, and the reason we decided not to is the minute you put a saddle on a creature, it becomes subservient. It becomes someone's pet. It becomes something that answers to somebody else. Theater is a god-level character in Mythic Legions. Like, this is the mightiest creature that we have seen in Mythic Legions to date. This makes the Dark Four look weak. Okay? This is a massive, massive character, and it's only one of the 5 pillars of Mythic. If we put a saddle on this, it immediately knocks the power level down on this character. So I'm not saying that we won't ever have a saddle for the dragons, there's going to be some variety in the future, but for Bayethera to start with, we made the conscious decision not to put a saddle. We think through all this stuff. Like we sit there and we talk about all the possibilities, and does it make sense for this character? Because it's cool. Like, yeah, definitely a saddle on this with a dragon rider, super, super cool. But not every idea needs to come out right now. We have to try to pace ourselves a little bit. So we try to show, I was about to say we try to show some restraint, which is silly to say when you look at that. It's like, if that's them being restrained, good lord.
Bang, so there you have it. That is the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Dragon. So here's what we know so far, okay? It looks like it's going to go up for pre-order probably sometime in January, maybe in February. We'll see how that goes. It is going to be a crowdfunded type situation. They're not going through Kickstarter. This is directly through Store Horsemen, but they have an MOQ. So they do have to secure a certain number of pre-orders in order for this thing to go into production. I would be shocked, man. The buzz around this thing is huge. I would be shocked if this thing didn't actually get made. But keep in mind, they're only making these dragons to order. And that means if you miss out, you're probably not going to get a chance to get one that's not on the secondary market later. So what do we know about price? This is what we know so far. There's going to be a base offering that's going to include the head with the articulated jaw, the wings that are a little bit more folded in. And then it sounds like there's going to be an add-on package that I think will be for some additional price. Maybe stretch goals come into play there. I'm not entirely sure. But what Jeremy said when he was moving the prototype around was he has heard people guess that the price might be something like $650 to $700. Jeremy said it would be well below that. So what's my guess? I don't know. I'm guessing that the base offering is going to be around $500, and the accessory pack that's going to include, I believe, the more angry head, the flame effects, and the unfurled wings, that might be like $100 to $150. Again, this is all speculation on my part. I have no inside information, but that's the kind of range that sort of makes sense to me. Four Horsemen typically release the pricing on product the same day it goes up for pre-order, so I wouldn't actually expect the pricing to be announced before it goes up for pre-order sometime in January, we think, maybe February. But who knows? Maybe they do things a little bit differently this time and let us know the pricing a little bit earlier. Also, big news that was just announced is that Four Horsemen now has shop pay installments embedded, I think, as part of the Store Horsemen experience. So you will be able to split up this thing into multiple payments, interest-free, I believe. So that's a huge help. But there we go. There we have it. Oh my God, dragon confirmed. I can finally say that because, baby, we're getting a dragon. So now just a couple of quick thank yous, if I may. First of all, thank you to Pixel Dan, who graciously gave me permission to use that clip from his interview with Cornboy. 2, thank you to Eric Miller for coming and getting me from the show floor during Legions Con so that I could go and get this footage of Jeremy going through the prototype. Thank you to Jeremy Gerard for taking us through that prototype. That was really unexpected and some great information for this video right here. Thank you to watching my video. Please like, share, and subscribe and do all the things. I appreciate you. I appreciate you watching the video. And until next time, don't forget the #1 rule. Oh my God, dragon confirmed.